Hi Scott, it's Ben at Sky.
Hi there.
I can imagine it was probably quite difficult for you coming out last night, facing the media, having to answer questions about Tony's tweets in particular, especially when the result was obviously so raw for you. But I just wondered that now you've had a bit of time, now the dust has settled a bit, how you feel about what he said and the way he said it on social media.
Um, Look, I think obviously, I think I said it last night. People have the platform, the football club. You can decide how you want to communicate or send a message out. It's not something I agree with. It's not helpful from that sense. But like I said, that's down to the owner and how he sees it. And there's one thing I'm disappointed with is he's actually apologising for the performance, and that is something what I don't agree with. And it shouldn't happen. That performance last night was a performance which was a group of players what were doing everything they can, worked tirelessly from minute 0 to minute 95, 3-0 down, was still trying to push as much as they can to try and get them back in the game. And for that, I don't agree with. And, I'll be the first to have an issue with my squad or my team or my players if I felt that was something what needed to be criticised. So I have an issue with that, and obviously that's something which I don't agree with. But the other bits, it is what it is. I think we understand. I certainly understand the challenges this year, and the rest is noise. I can't control that. I can't control what people do, what people write. I said it a little while ago. I had a meeting with this team of players before the season kicked off, and that meeting was that this year there's going to be challenges, and there's going to be a lot of noise coming from the outside because who we are when you're Fulham and you've just come up into the Premier League via Wembley and the short turnaround. There's going to be times this year we're going to be under severe adversity, and there's going to be noise coming from the outside, and there's going to be a narrative a lot of the time was going to be aimed at us, and rightly so sometimes. Certainly last night, defending at times and individual mistakes at times was, I can see why people are going to be critical on that. But at the same time, we need to understand where we are. We need to understand as a group we stick together. We keep learning, we keep working hard, and for sure, that's what we'll do. And I have full trust in and confidence in the players that they're doing that. And that's the main voice coming from my side, really.
Have you had a chance yet to speak to Tony or any members of the board?
Not really. No, not really. I've not. I've had some little bit of a dialogue, but nothing too much. Look, I repeat them words this morning after last night. Disappointing and absolutely gutted. The players were gutted. Not disappointed with the performance, and I've not been disappointed with the performance in that sense. Disappointed with certain elements, of course, individual errors. And like I said, I understand the narrative. I understand where the world we're in and where the story is. And the story for Fulham this year is going to be defensive because it's one which is conceded a lot of goals last time we was in this league. And I also get that. I'm not naive or not whinging about that. I understand that. But yeah, the main focus for me was last night, wake up this morning, we have to go again. You have to dust yourself down and we have to go again. This is what this season's going to be like this time. This is exactly how I've set it out. This is exactly how I explained to the players. And what happened last night in terms of result, what happened after last night in terms of a tweet and why I'm sitting here in front of you and you asking me these questions is exactly what I spoke to the team about. And it reconfirms exactly what I'm saying. And that's exactly it. We dust ourselves down. We've got a game now against Brentford and then we play against Wolves. And that's the main focus from me, and we need to keep digging in and keep pushing.
And what response have you seen from the players, in particular, I suppose, the defenders who did come in for a bit of criticism last night?
Well, look, it's still early stages. Obviously, we've come in today. We've had a recovery. We've had a meeting. I've got a great bunch of lads here, a team of players what have given absolutely everything. Last year as well, we had our moments, which was during some adverse times, and we pulled through them. And from this minute at this present moment in time, we've had 3 games and we've lost 3 football matches in the Premier League. And I see a group of players and a group of men that are giving their absolute everything. They're trying their hardest and they're giving their absolute everything. Sometimes we're coming up a bit short, but that's it. And that's exactly where we are at this present moment in time. And, you know, I will never accept my players. I will never accept any one of them not to give everything and work hard and be committed. That's a fundamental in certainly in my teams and a lot of teams. Of course it is. And I don't see that. Of course we need to improve, and we will keep doing that.
You were quite honest yesterday as well in terms of where you see the squad. I think you've kind of done the same again there as well. Are you any closer to bringing anyone in particular, a defender?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It's got to the point where, you know, I just have to. I just want to focus on the team. Really, I am. The transfer window's been open for some time, and you know, I can't control that. I can't control who we're going to get, who we're not going to get. I can give an opinion. We're now, I don't know how many days left of it, and we are where we are. So, you know, I don't want to waste energy or lose sight of what I need to do with the team and lose energy elsewhere. So yeah, look, we're in the market. Of course we are, but we was in the market 2 days after Wembley when we came into this league. So yeah, the people in them areas are trying their hardest, and hopefully we can get some help. And this is not just defenders either. You know, I think around the defence, of course, we need improvements there, and we need to evolve as a football club to go and compete this year in a tough league, and we understand that. But you know, that's where it is really.
One that does look to be getting closer is Ademola Lookman with the loan signing from Leipzig. Just wondered whether you can bring us up to speed on that, whether that is one that's going to get over the line in the next 24 hours.
Again, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I think the game last night, there's a lot of processes in place what certain things need to go through. So at this present moment in time, I wouldn't want to comment on any individual because things can change so very quickly. So I've never commented on players what are not at the football club, and I'm not willing to do that with that one either.
And just one final one then, looking at the game on Thursday, is this an opportunity for the players involved last night to put things straight on the pitch, or is it an opportunity where you have to give other members of the squad some game time and give them the opportunity to find their way into your first team?
Yeah, you know, look, it's an opportunity, how I see best to try and win the football match, but also trying to balance things within the squad, give people minutes who need minutes, people we've not had a big pre-season, so there's certain players what need that. So yeah, I mean, look, it's a mixture of things really, and I'll make that decision on what I think's best for the football club short term and for our team long term as well, in terms of getting players out there who I feel need them minutes to get up to speed with certain things to obviously help us in the future, but also keeping a real eye on getting a result and trying to win the game. Thanks
for your time, Scott.
I don't think we have any other broadcast. Do we have BBC London?
Hello, Carmelo. Yeah, hello, Scott. Sorry about the late arrival. I just wanted to ask you, Scott, what you've kind of made of recent weeks, because it has been a bit of a baptism. It's only a few weeks ago you were celebrating at Wembley, and how you've kind of had to adjust everyone's expectations to the difficulties you're now facing. Because it's a wonderful thing to be in the top flight, but obviously that there are lots of challenges for you at this time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, obviously, what was it? Only, like you say, only a little while ago at Wembley, and obviously what come with that, getting promoted. And I think we knew that the turnaround and where we were, well, I certainly did, where we were at that moment and what we was going to come into was always going to be very, very difficult for us. Finished fourth in the Championship, and then obviously you step into the Premier League where the league is unforgiving at times, and I think that's exactly it. I will say we've lost 3 football matches at this present moment in time, and I understand that where the narrative is and where the noise builds up and where we can make a little tiny snowball into a massive one and keep it rolling. I do understand that, but me sitting in my position, I need to try and keep that pretty level, because I do see some, last night's game, the way we played last night was, I thought we played extremely well. We had large control of the game, reduced Aston Villa to really limited them with the ball. Certainly, we had a control. I think we put in over 40 crosses in the game. We got to the edge of their box very, very well. And of course, I'm not sitting here silly enough to understand that errors in our game at this present moment in time is costing us and it's having an effect. Of course, I understand that, but there are some other big areas which are very, very pleasing and very, very good. And at this present moment in time, then errors are obviously costing us matches, and I understand that. But we need to keep improving on that and keep working hard.
You played in the top flight an awful lot, Scott. You have an awful lot of experience to bring to bear on these occasions. Are you talking to the players that perhaps either haven't played in the top flight a great deal, or perhaps played for a relatively small period of time and had a pretty difficult experience? Is there stuff you still have to kind of communicate to them about how to deal with the very, very different environment that you now find yourselves in?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I think there's not many players what are in this squad that have played large amounts of Premier League football. They were in it once before, but there's not players what have been around it 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So of course, I can use my experiences and that. I can relay that message, and I'm doing that constantly. And I'm also constantly, we're on the training pitch trying to improve in the real detail of what we need to do, and the detail in one's ability to sense certain things or to actually get better and improve is what we're trying to do. We hope to do that.
And for those that haven't experienced it, and this and you've experienced this, how big a jump is it from, because these players were playing in the Championship, to a high degree of success very recently. Now they find themselves in the Premier League, and it feels, for those of us watching, as though it's a totally different ballgame. Is it as big a jump as it looks like at the moment, or is it just because we're talking about the opening exchanges, or is it because it's such a weird season? Just if you can put in context for us what some of these players are experiencing and the challenges they're facing right now.
It's a big jump. Of course, it's a big jump. But again, I'll probably go back to the performances over the last 2 games. And I also see players and a team at times exactly like last night's game. I see a team that, there's elements of what we're doing, the structure, how the team are playing, which are very, very good. And the fine details of this league is unforgiving. And what's unforgiving is in the detail. In the detail, if your body position's not quite right as a centre half, or you're not going to drop back on a backswing when there's no pressure on the ball, or you're going to try and take a little bit of a liberty in covering a channel or whatever that may be, you're going to get found out. You're going to get found out. And in the Championship, you can get away with it. You can get away with the little tiny details. You haven't got to focus on the little tiny details. You ain't got to worry about body position, when to step, when to drop, be constantly involved in the game. And the reason being, no disrespect, but you can get away with it because you you don't cover the channel. It gets put down in the channel, and maybe it goes behind the goal, or the players don't quite put it there. In the Premier League, you see last night the first goal. The first goal is exactly that. You don't give yourself a little 2 yards. You drop off 2 yards, narrow that gap between the goal and yourselves as a back four. Don't follow the runner, or your body shape's not coming up. You're coming up square. That ball's going to get put on the button, and McGinn puts it on the button. Grealish makes a run. It's a goal, and they're the fine details. You need to respect them, and you need to understand that you can't. When you step in from the Championship and you're going in now into a Premier League and you're going up a tier, and this is not just football, this is anything in any walk of life, you're going up a tier, you now need to start working out very, very quickly where you need to improve. You need to work out very, very quickly in what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is the real detail, and the real detail in defending, the real detail in finishing, your movements in and around the box. I'm not just putting it down as defenders, but that's the difference.
And just finally, do you see the League Cup as a little bit of an opportunity to just change the mood music? Is it a chance to have a little break from the Premier League and to put all that behind? Because the League Cup so far this season has gone pretty well. for you. Can you kind of put the Premier League to one side?
Well, not really. No, Premier League's our main focus. Of course, it is. It's for this year, but the League Cup comes at a good time for us. These games have been good for us, as well as a competition which we want to do well in, and want to win games. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes here. We can win games. We have won in this competition. We can progress in this competition, and that's what we want to do, while also just obviously looking at the other facets of the team and what we need to do in terms of minutes with players and that.
Thank you, Scott. Much appreciated. Good luck on Thursday. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. We're now going to move over to written press. I can see a few hands raised. Can we start with Paul Warburton, please?
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Paul.
How you doing? A couple of weeks ago, you explained the transfer process and how there was a body of people involved, including you, and how you had the final say. Last night, you were quoted as saying that you didn't know or wouldn't know, or honestly wouldn't know, about what had gone on. Can you just clarify, was that in reference to why the bids for centre-backs failed, or that you didn't actually know who the targets were in the first place?
No, yeah, I know the targets are. I know the targets are. The targets have been the same targets what were put to us, and they're targets which I'm aware of. Obviously, so that's exactly it. In terms of the actual detail in what's happening, I don't. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I don't. I think it'd probably take up the majority of my energy, because it seems quite drawn out, and that's the way it is, really. So in that sense, look, I think it's well documented. We have a lot of processes in place. Our pool we're fishing in for players is very, very small compared to the majority of our competition, because of a lot of things in place in terms of doing that. So targets are limited. And maybe that's why it's proving difficult.
Okay. Did the tweak in formation play a part in the defeat at all?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you could say we let in 4 goals against Leeds with a back 4. We let 3 goals against Arsenal with a back 4. But I think it would be, I don't see that at all, really. We went with a back 5 yesterday to put another defender on the pitch, try and be a bit, stay in the game a little bit, and it didn't work. Like we said, it certainly didn't work in that sense. I say it didn't work, like I said, for large parts, you watch the game back, for large parts we've done very, very well, certainly in possession. Individual errors at certain moments have cost us, but yeah, I don't think, I think if people are looking at a formation, the reason why we're losing football matches or we've lost football matches, then I think we're looking in the wrong areas.
Just one finally from me. Does it become a mental issue as much as anything else when you concede early goals? Is there a part of you thinks that maybe if you just gave it a good hefty swipe out of defence for the first 10 or 12 minutes to give yourself a platform, thus foregoing obviously your principal advance, that you still might give yourself a better chance in the game?
Definitely conceding early is an issue, but I mean, the goals we've conceded are not due to the fact we've overplayed and we've tried to pass out from the back and they've nicked it off us for overplaying. First goal yesterday is no pressure on the ball, gets clipped in behind us, wasn't through overplaying. Second one's a throw in, switch off, gets thrown in behind us, and they put one in. So I mean, I don't think this is it's an issue. It's just individual errors at certain moments in time, and so that's exactly where I see it.
It's just that you've had 3 goals within the space of 4 to 6 minutes in 3 games. It seems like a particular time when something happens. I just wondered how you had an explanation for that time frame.
Yeah, no, and totally. Look, it's valid in totally what you're saying. You can, we've conceded early goals, exactly that. A set play against Leeds early, and then yesterday it doesn't give you much to build on. So I totally get that. I just disagree that It's nothing to do with, you know, us giving ourselves a base. We had a back in there yesterday to give ourselves a base, and the goal comes out of individual errors. So that's what it is.
Thank you very much. Good luck against Brentford.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. A couple of hands raised. Can we go to Sam Wallace, please, for Telegraph?
Hello, Scott.
How are you, mate?
Oh, good. A difficult few days. I just wondered, when you were speaking earlier, you really picked out one thing from last night, and that was that you apologising for a performance. And I just, what is it that kind of you feel is basically wrong about apologising for performance in the way that Tony did last night?
I just don't. I don't agree with that. You don't need to apologise for the performance. The performance was there. There was nothing wrong with the performance. You know, if you want to apologise for a performance, that means you're apologising because there's a lack of work ethic, there's a lack of desire, there's a lack of energy. People not really bothering. For me, that's when you apologise for a performance. When you play a football match, you can lose it. People can have bad games. People can make mistakes. And for that, you should never apologise. It's sport. That's humans. And in that, you never, ever apologise, and you shouldn't have to apologise. And I would be the first to apologise, and I'd be the first to have a big issue with every single one of my players. Since the day I stepped in here as manager to this day, at this present moment in time, every single one of them, when they go out there, absolutely give us everything, and they've been working tirelessly hard during that whole time. And as a football club and as an organisation, I will accept nothing less than that. And I'd be the first to have an issue with the team, and I'll be the first to apologise myself if that was the case. But that's not the case, and that wasn't the case last night. That was not the case last night. Okay, you want to criticise errors, you want to criticise performance, as in like individual, we've made mistakes and that's fine. But I don't feel that anyone deserved any apology last night, and I think the Fulham fans included in that. You know, I don't think the Fulham fans were looking at a team here which needed apologising for. I honestly didn't see it like that, and that's frustrating, but that's the way it is.
And you also mentioned dealing with noise and the external influences. Obviously, it's hard when that noise comes from within as well. I mean, you're taught, you young coaches, how to manage upwards as well as downwards. That seems like it could be a challenge for you this season.
Yeah, probably. I think the noise from the outside is always going to be a challenge, Sam. I think I realised that, and you know, I think I said it earlier. I understand that. I've explained that to the team. I've explained to the team, you know, the first game, the first week leading into the Arsenal game, we had a big meeting to explain to the team that there is going to be a lot of noise at times this year, and of course, you know, when that noise comes from within, you know, I think the owner in Tony he's passionate. You know, he obviously wants the best for the team, and I totally understand that. But ultimately, it's my job to try and manage a group of players, to try and keep us on a level where we're competitive, we can compete, but also give the players some sort of realism that this is where we are this year. This is exactly where we're going to be. We are going to lose, like we've just lost 3 on the bounce. That is going to happen. It's just same with other teams in this division at this moment. There's other teams that have lost 3 on the bounce. There's other teams that have conceded more goals than us. And ultimately, we can't control the noise. I can't control what people say. I understand where we live, what we're living in terms of what I'm doing and what the team are doing, and I understand where the narrative will often be when it's us, and we can only change that by getting results and getting performance. But not helpful, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Just finally from me, Scott, there was just one thing that was mentioned last night was about 2 players who were potential targets getting COVID, or whether that was players in your own squad that had COVID. It didn't quite come through clearly. You could enlighten us one way or another on that.
Yeah, I've not got a clue regarding that, Sam. So yeah, maybe speak to the owner where that come from. I don't know regarding that one.
Thank you. Cheers, Scott.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Isabel. Last couple of questions, please. I see 2 hands raised. So can we go to Peter Rutzler, please? Peter, you're on mute. Can you come off mute and ask a question?
I just wanted to ask, I don't want to cover the ground we've already covered a bit, but I just wanted to ask, in your own assessment, how far away do you feel the team is to being competitive this season?
Yeah, I don't think we're too far away. I think we're, like I said, I was pleased for large parts last night. I was pleased for large parts against Leeds as well. And I thought everything about us last night at times was very good. Of course, we need to make improvements. Whether that's improvements via the transfer market or us as players need to work harder on the training field and to get better and improve and quickly realise what it takes in this division. Quickly realise what you're going to need to do to survive, or certainly have performances which are good ones and acceptable in this league. So, but I don't see us too far. No, I honestly don't. But at the same time, I think it's clear to see that there's certain areas we need to improve.
And just quickly on team news, Harrison Reed missed out on last night. How is the squad? Who's available, and what's the situation with Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison Reed, he's picked up an injury, and so has Lamina. So both not involved yesterday. Probably won't be involved on Thursday either. Maybe one will be available against Wolves, but touch and go. So we're probably looking at them both coming back after international. Other than that, Tete's had a scan this morning. We're just waiting on the result. Had a little bit of sensation in his calves, had to come off. So we'll see what that is.
Great. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
We go to Sonia Twig of Press Association, please.
Hi, Scott. Obviously, owner's tweet was quite critical of the defence. I was wondering if you'd had any conversations with the defenders since then.
Sorry, you broke up. I had any conversations with the defence or with the owner? With the defenders. With the defenders, not as yet. No, we've just literally come in a recovery session. We'll get onto that later or tomorrow morning. So yeah, that's what that is.
And will you be giving them any assurances?
In terms of?
In terms of their position in the squad and with you?
No. The players, the defenders know. This is not just the defenders. I'm very conscious of everyone's pointing fingers at the defence. This is a team, and this is about the team defending. You can point the fingers, in certain areas of individuals, and them individuals are defenders. Yeah, okay. But there's also other areas for the second goal where you can point fingers at other players on the pitch who are not defenders. Because, like I've said, this group of players are the group of players that we have, and they're a very good bunch, and they're learning in the division. I said at the top, there's not. These players are in the Championship for large parts, and the fine margins of this league means you need to be bright enough to learn quick, to understand what it takes in this league, and go from there. As well as maybe getting some support in as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. And the very last question, please, goes to Matt Dunn of the Express, please. Last question. Thank you.
Hi. Thanks a lot, Scott. Just a very last one on these tweets. I mean, as you know, it's a very passionate game, and it's all about spur of the moment decisions and things that are done in the heat of the moment. In your brief conversations that you've had today with the owners, with Tony, have you had any assurances that this won't happen again?
No, I've not spoken to Tony regarding the tweet. I've not spoken to owners. Obviously, it was a time I finished last night. It was very late. It wasn't at the forefront of my mind, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, like I said, it's not been helpful, but I can't control that. And I learned that a long while ago when I was playing. The things what I can't control, you need to, they're energy suckers, you know, they're things that you waste a lot of your time on and you can't control them. Before you know it, they bog you down a little bit. Not helpful, of course, but as soon as that tweet comes out, all I'm thinking about is how I react to that, how I react to the squad, how the squad feeling, what's the take, how are we now going to move on from that? Where can we get the squad come Thursday? Where can we get the squad come next game? And that's my main focus. All I want to do is win football matches. I want us to be successful. I want us to stick together as a team. I want us to stick together as an organisation. And even through failure, and if failure comes this year, which is possible, it can. We stick together, because if we stick together, we come back stronger. And we come back stronger, and hopefully then you're more successful along the way. And that's my main and sole focus. It has been since the day I stepped in. I took over this club when that was a scenario then. It was a scenario which was a bit messy, a bit disjointed, fans away from it. And I'm going to just try everything in my absolute power to not let that happen again, really. I realise how important that is. I realise how important it's going to be for the team. And I also realise how important it is to the fans and the football club for us to be successful. So, that's the main drive for me.
So, sorry, just to clarify, you're not going to talk to Tony about this, but you've obviously made your feelings known here publicly, so that he must know how you feel about this.
Well, that's not to say I'm not going to speak to him. At this present moment, you asked me the question. At this present time, I've not spoken to him. Last night, I not spoke to him. I speak to Tony once, twice a week, and of course, it will be something what comes up, and I'll explain my views with Tony, and he'll explain his, I'm sure.
Thank you. That's all to clarify. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everybody, for joining.